Who can remind us of what we looked at last week? Philomena, again, your hand is up.
Teacher, I forgot to lower my hand.
But I'm sure you can remind us of what we looked at last week. Yes, Philomena, you can tell us. What did we look at last week?
We did comprehension.
What was the passage about?
The passage was about. It was about why blame a mosquito, a white man, and the chief.
The white man and the chief. Okay, now most of you, when I looked at the work you were forwarding, most of you were not doing the right thing. You were not correcting yourselves, like giving me a comprehensive answer. We agreed that in this paper, we make complete sentences. And then also when you're submitting your work, submit it as like a scanned document. If you take photos, some of you were taking photos at night, so I would partially see some things, others I would completely not see. So let us make sure that we do what? We take you scan your work. Yeah? Let's not forward work that is not scanned. That is one good thing, because probably next week or so you can have a test or anytime. I would want in such a point that we are aware of how to submit our work. Okay. Is there any other person who wants to say something of what we looked at last week, what they remember about the passage? Class, you're very quiet. I hope you are not muted and you can't say anything. Kadi? Kadi? Are you Kadi B? What are you? Which Kadi are you? If you're quiet here, can you remind me of what we looked at? What do you remember about the story? Benedict and Daniela.
I beg your pardon.
What do you remember about last week? What we looked at? What did we look at?
We were not around last week.
Okay, sorry about that. Most of you are claiming now that you are not here. Any other? Tracy Hope?
I looked at how to answer questions in a passage.
Okay, question approach or how to answer or construct full sentences. Okay, but what do you remember about the passage?
It was about a chief and a pastor.
You're asking me what if, or as if?
Okay, it was about a chief and a pastor, and the chief was asking him why he was killing a mosquito. And
Can you tell me some?
And when he told him that it causes diseases, he was just amused and he wouldn't believe it.
What do you think what do you think that passage was teaching us? Was there any moral story there? Think about it, then you tell us.
Yeah.
Okay, any other person? I think about 50 people have come in. We can start with that today. How many of you have knowledge on minute recording or recording minutes? How many of you have attended meetings and you've been secretaries? in this forum? How many of you have been secretaries in a meeting? Yes, feel free to put up your hand. Then we share what you have knowledge on minute writing or minute recording. Yes. Philomena, what is your knowledge? Which knowledge do you have around that?
In minute writing, you first write the agenda. Yeah. So when you first write the agenda, and now you go to the to writing the minutes. So when you're writing the minute, you first write minute 001. That's the first thing on the agenda. Yeah, it could be an opening prayer by someone. So you write.
What is an agenda? You have given us something very good to discuss. What is an agenda?
An agenda, I can say it's a program it's a program or layout for a meeting or an occasion.
Okay.
Yes.
That.
So
All right.
yeah. So when you finish you've written your agenda, as I said, you go to write in your minute. So maybe minute 1 was a prayer led by someone. So you write minute 001. That's the first one. You follow what is written on the agenda, because it's people are going to follow what is written there. So you also have to follow the way the way the agenda has been presented to you. So you write the prayer, the person who led the prayer, you write their name and maybe the things they have said, not all of them, but some of the things they said in the prayer. Then you go to the second agenda, maybe speech by chairperson. That is my knowledge about it. I've never been a secretary, but I have some knowledge about minute writing.
Okay, thank you. That is good. We shall polish your knowledge and you become a better secretary. Chemtai. Yes, Chemtai. Chemtai.
Okay. Yes.
We're asking about general knowledge on minute writing or minute recording. What knowledge do you have around minute writing and minute recording?
I know that you're also supposed to write the members who are present, then the members who are absent, then the members who are present with apology.
Let's begin from minutes. What are minutes? What are these things we are struggling to understand? What are minutes?
Okay, I think minutes are records that are written during meetings.
Pardon, I did not get that.
I said I think minutes are records, are written records that are written by a secretary during a meeting.
Okay, that's a very good one. That's a very good one. We can begin from there. Now we are building. So we know that there is a secretary writing these minutes, or they are written or captured by a secretary. What are some of those things she captures, or how does she capture them? That is today what we're interested in. You've already told us she captures also the members present, the members absent. Is there anything you want to add?
Yes.
Okay, you can
Then
add very fast.
At the end, the chairperson of the meeting will sign, and even the secretary.
Okay, that is good. We shall keep polishing this knowledge until. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Let me go to William G. Are you George William?
Yes.
Yes, G.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, what I know about minutes, they have 5 main parts. And the first one is the heading, the second one is the attendance, the third one is the agenda, the fourth is the body, and the fifth is the signing off. Then
Signing out.
The heading should contain the gist of the matter, and it must also bear the word minutes. Yes,
Okay.
then the attendance, you must write the people in attendance, like of the meeting, and also maybe the people who are supposed to be in the meeting but have not attended. Then the agenda, it should be basically the program, like the timetable of the meeting, what you're going to talk about, what you're going to discuss, and all that. Yes, then you start recording. The body, whereby you start recording, and you don't skip lines. It seems when you're writing from the heading till the signing off, you don't skip any lines. Then you go to the body whereby you start recording minute one. Then, for example, if it's like your stream meeting, let me say 3C meeting, you write minute one stroke, then 3C stroke, you write the date. Then, for example, you're going to start with the opening prayer. And then you, for example, let me say William led the opening prayer. Then you write down Judge William led the opening prayer. Then you continue like that. Minute 2, 3C meeting stroke, you always have to write it above. Yeah, then you write the whole program. Then you go on like that till the signing off. And at the end of the signing off, you have to write the down, you have to sign as the secretary with your name and the date. Then also the chairperson has to sign with their name and the date. Yeah, that's what I know about minutes.
Okay, you have good knowledge. Just we shall rearrange certain items. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, let me pick now. How can I pronounce this name? Yeboash. Yeboash. I hope I pronounced your name well.
Yes.
Could you pronounce that name again?
Yeboash.
Okay, that's a nice name.
For me, minutes are like how a meeting proceedings are done. How meeting proceedings are done, and like how, where, when members with and members without apology are present or not. Then the proceedings, like the communication from the chairman, the steps taken by the chairman to solve a certain problem. Then conclusion, how did the meeting conclude? What took place during the meeting, and at what time, and after what happened.
Okay, you also have rough knowledge. We shall polish it. Let me pick the last two people, and then I will show you also what I have, and I will polish what you have. Yakauya Margaret. Yes.
Title, then you register the attendance. Number 4, you have to avoid first person point of view. That is mentioning people's names since yes. Then number 5, language. Number 6, you give the signature of the chairperson as secretary. Number 7 is the itemization.
I like that
every item on the agenda. Yes.
I like that you're using my notes. That is very good. Let us now get to those notes that you're reading so that I can explain them. Okay. So class minutes, like someone has already defined, are written a record of the proceedings in a meeting. They must be captured by the secretary. And during that meeting, so many things. So most of you know the format, but I will give you also the language, and perhaps the content is dictated upon by the agenda or the type of meeting. So let us look at them in an orderly way, and we're able to share and see how can we next time write minutes or capture minutes in a better way? And today is that day we want to be able to share and see for ourselves how we can be able to do that. Okay. Where is this English week 4? Can we pick it from the classroom? Because I remember I uploaded it. We can be able to pick it. Okay. Okay, class, sorry about that. I'm not getting to the point where I want it to be. So let me see if I can share it from my WhatsApp direct and be able to see if that work is there. This is the example direct. Okay, here we go. All right, so as we see here, I tried to define what minutes are. We all agree that minutes are an official record of the proceedings in a meeting. They are written by a secretary who is expected to record accurately all decisions reached. So we as secretaries, next time you become a secretary, you should know that is your role, to record accurately what transpires during a meeting. So as a secretary, you are expected to capture exactly what is happening accurately. When we talk about accuracy, we don't want you missing key points. We want you to be able to capture everything the way it is supposed. So as a secretary, that is one area we expect of you to do that. All right. I also looked at it and said that they are written by secretaries. Decisions reached, all the decisions reached, they serve as a reference in the future meeting. So most times when you're going for the next meeting, we usually do not start that meeting without reading these current minutes. They must be looked at. It is actually the starting point for the next meeting, especially if the agenda is connected to the other meeting. So that is a recap of what we can say about that. But also, what is expected to be in minutes? What are those things we need to have in minutes? The first thing someone talked about was a title. I also agree it is a title. But what is in that title? This comprises of the name of the group having a meeting. For example, a senior 3C. Someone, I would use that example of someone saying senior 3C. That is a group. Staff meeting, that is a group. Teachers, college maybe members, or primary teachers meeting, that is a group. A place where that meeting is being held, it could be a main hall, it could be the DH, it could be the compound, the school compound, it could be a library. So you mentioned the place where the meeting is happening, where the meeting is being held, that is the place. And then the time, it could be 3 a.m., it could be after lunch at 2, it could be exactly at 1 o'clock, it could be in the morning. So that time you can put the actual clock hours, and then the day, it could be maybe Monday, it could be Tuesday, are we together? Or 11th of maybe, certain, you can mention that date, day and date. It could be Monday the 5th or Monday the 12th. You can mention that date of the meeting. Now that is very important. You must have that composition in your meeting, in your title. Make sure the title captures the main things in the meeting. The group, those are the members having a meeting, the place they are having the meeting from. All those are very important for you to mention. Are we together, members? Are we together? Are we together? Can you hear me? Can at least someone say something? Are we together? Can you hear me? Yes, class, can you hear me? Okay, I hope you can hear me. Then number 2, the second thing that we must not miss, a register of attendance, which includes members present. This is what someone was saying. Now here, I'm giving you the format in an orderly way, that the first thing you're going to talk about is the title. The second thing you go and talk about is the register. And we shall capture them in what we call subtitles. Are we together? However, the first one, the title will not, you don't write title, then you write the title. You just simply write the title. Maybe minutes of senior 3 meeting held in the main hall at 2 p.m., on the 5th of January or something like that, the main hall. So the title, don't write the subtitle title. Simply write the title. Then the second thing, you write a subtitle. For example, members, you can talk about attendance. Then under attendance, you put members present. Record starting with the most senior. That means you start with the chairperson. The chairperson is maybe assisted by the assistant chairperson, or is followed by, if the first one is the director or the chairperson, the next person also should be. Usually in institutions, the head teacher is usually the chairperson of most meetings. So that's why we say from the senior position. So make sure you record them in such a way that it's in that order, that from the most senior, from maybe that you go to the deputy head teacher, who could be the assisting or chairperson in case the head teacher steps out. That's who we shall consider. The second, after members present, you record members absent with apology. Members absent with apology. Those who gave an excuse early, who communicated early that they will not be able to attend. Usually those are received when the meetings are just starting. The secretary can ask any apologies, then they start taking. Other people reach direct to the secretary and explain themselves. Can I hear from students? Are we Am I clear? I hope you're getting. Someone is asking, sir, we write a title in how many lines? It is not a must. You cannot have a restriction of maybe some people have bad handwritings, others are more accurate. So let us not ask, there's no assumption of how many lines that one should take. So that one I think is not really a problem. Who is the other person? Okay, yes, sir, we are getting okay. Poor, not bad, confused about what? All right. I thought someone had something to say. Businje, your hand is up. You want me to say something? Businje, your hand is up before I resume. Okay. Some people should put down their hands if you have nothing to say. Ronnie and Olivia, your hands are up. I don't know. Ronnie?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Your
sir.
hand is up. What would you like to ask?
No, sir. I just wanted to say that we are getting you. You're clear
Oh.
enough.
Okay, let me resume with the class. Okay. So for those, let us resume with what we're looking at. We're trying to make sure that we capture the basics of this. We had already agreed on the title. After members are absent with apology, of course, there are always those members who just, maybe they forget to forward their apologies. So we also capture them and say members absent without apology. Please, let's mute our microphones. Let's not leave our microphones on. Let's mute our microphones. So those ones should also be captured. The members who are absent without apology, we capture them also. And then sometimes we have members who are in attendance, but they are not members of our class. Or maybe let's say the head teacher, in case the head teacher came into your class abruptly to attend to your meeting. And yet at that point, or let's talk about maybe other teachers came to your class to have a meeting, not necessarily the head teacher. In case teachers from another stream passed by and attended your meeting, you can capture them also under members called in attendance. So after apology, after that subtitle of members absent without apology, you can write another small list down and say members in attendance or in attendance. Those are members who are not usually part of the group, but are in attendance of your meeting. Please, members, can we mute our microphones? Let us mute our microphones. There are people who just... Businja, you're giving us one bloody nose. Can you mute your microphone? Businja? Okay, let me get back to what we're sharing. Some people are really unfair to the rest. Okay, back to our business. So those members who come and attend your meeting and yet they are not members, for example, maybe choir members have just joined another club, you know, and for them, they are not part of the other club. It could be they can capture them under members in attendance. Absent should be fewer than members present. That is, you cannot have more members absent than the members present. So let's also be logical when we are capturing that moment. Let's make sure that the members we are having in the meeting are more than those who are absent. In other words, you cannot have that meeting Usually they say if you have other quorums, you can say that maybe your quorum, if out of 10 members, if 6 are present, you can start a meeting. Others say 70%, if maybe 7 of you are present, you can start the meeting. So you can find that that is called a quorum. So I don't expect you to capture minutes where we have more members absent than the ones present. Otherwise, that meeting will be cancelled, and therefore we shall not call it a meeting. The next item after attendance is now the agenda. Someone was giving us details under agenda. I will also add a voice and say, this is a plan or an order the meeting will follow. So that is, that I'm sure you're familiar with that document. You'll always write agenda, first thing. Now we have common elements in the agenda. We shall also capture them here. I made sure I captured them so that it's easy for you always to start an agenda of your own. What is included in an agenda will be determined by the purpose of the meeting and the issues that are to take place. Now, an agenda is like, okay, let's begin. No, I'm talking about the similarity that for you to write a letter, you must have a message you want to communicate. Even for an agenda, when you call for a meeting, for you, that agenda is going to tell us exactly what message you want to communicate. So the main topic always in the discussion of the agenda, or rather the main things to be discussed are put in the agenda. So agenda shows you what exactly is going to happen. So whatever you're going to discuss is put under agenda. So you summarize how you're going to follow the meeting. The meeting proceedings are what we call an agenda. However, there are some items that do not miss on the agenda, despite being determined by the question or being determined by what is to be discussed. There are certain items which are constant, and we called the first ones the preliminaries. These include the formalities. For example, usually when every meeting is starting, it is usually the chair calling the house into order. So you'll find most times minute 1, a person can say, the chair called the house into order. Are we together? Sometimes you find that then after a prayer was held. So after that, another thing that is common in the beginning of every meeting is a prayer. And then the issue of noting apologies. I told you that is the time the secretary is able to note who is present and who is absent. However, that point is more important for who is not around. They can be noted. Then the chair's opening remarks. After calling the house into order usually, and the prayer has been held, usually the chair now starts addressing, giving remarks. Members, we are here today. Oh, I'm happy to see you. He welcomes the members. Are we together? And then starts hinting on why people are there. So those are the common things you cannot miss on an agenda. Let us continue. Let us note first that at times the above is recorded under different minutes. What we mean here is you can find that maybe the chair's opening remarks and the prayers can be put in 1 minute, and then noting of any apologies and the chairperson's remarks. All these can sometimes be put in one single. It can be put in a singlet. However, if there were many issues, you find that they will be separated. If the remarks had different things, you can separate them into different minutes. Are we together? If some of these become many, you can separate them and put them into different minutes as minute 1, minute 2, and minute 3. So you don't be restricted. You can put them in under different minutes despite being a single item. Okay, let's leave that. Next, another common item on the agenda is the chairperson's word. That will depend on the nature of the meeting. If the chairperson has different issues to communicate, they may be put under different sub-headings. After giving remarks, some chairs prefer to straight away make their speech. That's what happens in most staff briefings. The chairperson, who is the head teacher, straight away goes ahead and tells you what he wants to share with you and then waits for your reactions. So you can put each of those things. For example, if he's talking about the first minute absenteeism of teachers, the second one, the indiscipline of students, you can capture all those under different minutes. So that's what we can also comment. The other common element is reading of previous minutes. You can also put that in the agenda. That is a very common aspect in the agenda, but that is only possible if you had a meeting before. But if you did not have a meeting before, there is no need to include that aspect. So it could be your first meeting. That agenda will not have reading of previous minutes. But if it's your second meeting, you definitely have to include your second. You definitely have to include the reading of previous minutes as an item on your agenda, because it is in that meeting where those minutes are approved and signed by both the secretary and the chairperson. The minutes are not signed on that very day. After reading those minutes, they will ask members, are these the events that transpired in our meeting? And then the members definitely will say yes. So that's why it is important for you to include that. It enables the secretary and the chairperson to sign those minutes after. Okay, can I hear at least from you again? Are we understanding, members? People's hands are up. Alvin, your hand is up. You want to say something?
So like my network is not favoring me. So where can I get the notes from?
I've already shared this work
Sorry?
in our Google. I've already shared this in our Google Classroom. All the notes are in the Google Classroom. And I'm even uploading an example. Just network was disturbing, but I uploaded already these notes in our Google Classroom.
What's the code of the Google Classroom?
Can we do that after this lesson? Let's do this after this lesson. Let me finish, then
Okay,
we can
fine.
take, okay. Okay, let me take Mary shortly. Mary, come in.
Teacher, is it that in which form do you write the minutes? Do you write that? Do you write like number 1, minute 1? You write in number over.
I'm yet to get there. I am still giving you the elementaries where we have just finished the first thing, the title, and then attendance. Now I'm on agenda. After the agenda, I will go to the actual minutes.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Okay. I think with those few hands, I would like to go back to my lesson at least. Let me complete explaining, and then I will display the other example. We can keep those hands, we can put our hands down, and then I will definitely pick them at the end when I'm explaining. Okay. Back to our notes very fast. Back to our notes very fast. Now we are done with the reading of previous minutes. Now we want to go to matters arising. Now that is also another item that is common in the agenda. After the chairperson speaking, usually members react to his speech. People may be okay with the decisions. Maybe they want to explain why it happened in such a way, or they could have a divergent idea from the chairperson's view. So matters arising. These are issues that need further discussion, either from the chairperson's word or from the previous minutes. It could also be from the previous minutes. After reading the previous minutes, members can want to inquire what happened, where the solutions, where the solutions reached. Did we try to capture or do as expected? If they had assigned members duties, members can now come and ask the people who were assigned duties, what did you do? Or the person who was assigned a duty can come and present in this area of issues arising. Okay. The other common item is new issues to be discussed. Now, this is why we have called the meeting. So most times we shall expect this item to be discussed heavily. Why we have called the meeting? It could be discussing maybe the indiscipline of students. But of course, we shall have to still bring all the other things before reaching to the main point. So members can, the common item again you can find on the agenda is the issue that is to be discussed that very day. And then the other common item is any other issue. Some of these things you find A or B on an agenda. You know, there was a debate that they had removed A or B. However, there is no problem if you included it. But if your teacher tells you it is not encouraged, you go by what he tells you. Then the other one is the closing or adjournment. This usually has the chairperson's last comment. Are we together? So that's where someone was saying the chairperson now at that last minute can say, member, thank you so much. However, let's decide on this, or we shall go by this. So the last comment of the chairperson, or the chairperson can say, all right, members, this meeting is adjourned till further notice, or it's adjourned. Then he gives you a particular date when you will have the next meeting. You can have it in that part of closing remarks or adjournment. Now, I want us to look at also a common thing, that is the language, the nature of language. What should we say? What shouldn't we say? It is very important. Remember the other time we stopped on number, we looked at up to number 3. Now here we're looking at number 4. What are the common things that are expected on an agenda? What should we say? What shouldn't we say? Avoid first person point of view. We have 3 points of view of telling a story. The first person is I, where you have I, we, you, even the person speaking is part of the story. I, we, us. But the third person, usually you're not part of it. They, him, she, her, those ones. So here we discourage you to use the first person. Don't say, I suggested, or I said this, or I requested members. We do not use first person while we are discussing, because solutions are reached as a whole. The entire class or group must agree and say, yes, maybe by voting, we all agree that you will go for the tour on 20th of August. So that's what we are saying, that decisions are not reached by individual members, but are reached by the general group. So we avoid saying I. So do not say I suggested that, or Mrs. Atwine or Miss Atwine disagreed with the chairperson. Please don't say that. It goes without being missed that members avoid also so much, avoid using names. Are we together? Avoid using people's names. I will comment on that later. So, but instead of saying, do not say I suggest that or Mr. Twine disagreed. Instead say members agreed, because it is a group. So you say members agreed, or members resolved that. Under that item, you can say members resolved that. Use names, for instance, if people have been given responsibilities, that is the only time you can use. That is the only time you can use what? You can use names when you, maybe members asked Mr. or team to explain why up to now he had not delivered the machine. Are we together? That can be mentioned. Or Mr. Tim clarified that there was a delay in the factory. That's why he did not bring the machine. However, for these other areas, avoid saying, maybe Mr. Opio asked Mr. Tim. No, you'll say members asked Mr. O Tim. Now, because his responsibility was to bring the machine. So that's what we can say. So there we shall have a generalization. You'll say members asked Mr. Tim, because he was given the responsibility. So that's the only time you can talk about people's names. Now, sometimes even during prayers, you can simply say a member led the prayer, or you can simply say one, or maybe, but avoid so much using names. However, I've seen people also under prayer. You can say maybe the prayer was led by Father Jumba. Then that one you can mention. However, other areas, avoid using a lot of names. The other thing I want to comment heavily on is the language. It should be formal. And in English, when you talk about formal language, you talk about English in terms of spellings, punctuation, paragraphing. All those things must be adhered to. The signature of the chairperson and the secretary, which usually come at the end, that is the last element Are we together? However, now when we are dealing with actual minutes, what we call itemization, what do you do? I have captured it here, that every item on agenda is numbered using either a number of the meetings held or the month. One may include the name of the meeting held, e.g., or leave it out. For example, staff meeting can be abbreviated as SM, class meeting CM. So that can be included. I tried illustrating it down here. For example, if it's a staff meeting, minute 3 of the 4th meeting. So there the 4 represents the number. So the first thing you write is minute, abbreviation MN, MIN, the short form rather, not abbreviation. You write MIN, you can, M is in capital, we shall capture M in capital, then IN in small, mean. You put a punctuation mark, which is a full stop there. You put a dot, 3 stroke. Now that 3 is the number of minute. If it's the first minute, it is min 1. Are we together? Minute 1 of meeting 4. The 4 there represents the what? The number of the meeting. For example, if it's our 4th meeting, that is the one you capture there of the 4th meeting. 21 is the year, 2021, 2017, depending on the year you have been given. So it is minute 3 of the 4th meeting in 2021, or minute 3 of a meeting held in April. So that can be a month. So if you don't put the number of meeting, you can put the number of the month that meeting was held in that year. However, commonly people use the number of minute as a way of remembering which meeting it was. So most people rather capture the number, that 4 as or the middle as, instead of using the month, most people capture it as the minute, or rather the meeting number, either meeting 1, meeting 2, or meeting 3. Now, if you've seen other people write it, including what short forms like SM, they have simply included the name of the meeting. For example, minute 3 of meeting 4. SM there is staff meeting 2021. Are we together? Where the SM refers to the staff meeting. So that's how you can abbreviate. I want you so much to capture this because the format is up to you. Me, I only give you the language and then the content. However, the content is dictated upon by the question. That's what I can say. Okay. Does it make sense, members? I hope you have understood. We can be able to share. Alvin, you want to say something? Alvin?
Yes. I'm just waiting for your number.
Okay, I'll leave my number on the chat. Mary?
Teacher.
Mary, yes?
Can we skip lines?
No. We do not skip lines.
Thank you.
Avoid skipping lines. I'm going to show you an example, and also share with you an example in your WhatsApp group, and then you can be able to relate with it well. Yes, Comfort Grace. Your hand is up.
Sir, I was asking. Hello?
You are asking.
I am asking, sorry. Are minutes written on one page, or they are supposed to be written on more than one page?
No, here it's not about one page. It's about capturing what you have been told. Please let us try to be brief. let's not capture everything the way someone says. If there was a joke, for example, don't capture that the head teacher made fun of. No, let us not, the things we should not record. Let's not record things like maybe fun, disagreements. If people quarreled, don't capture that. Instead, after the quarrel, what did they resolve? Are we together? You can capture that and say maybe members resolved this, but don't say after a quarrel. So only include things that are useful in the meeting. William G.
Yes, teacher, I'm asking here on the, here where you've been telling us where we have to write the abbreviation of minute 1, then you stroke, then you write, let me say the month or the name of the meeting, then the year. Does the order matter, or you can place it in any way you want?
Now, if I'm to look at it there, it is not, it is very simple for you to capture it. If we, let's use the two formats, for example, let's begin. There is no way you can tell me that minute, after writing minute, then again you write the month. Definitely you'll have to tell me that it's minute 1. Are we together? Are you okay up to that point?
Yes.
After writing the next thing there, slash the number of the meeting, or number of the meeting. For example, meeting 4. You cannot bring the year before the number of the meeting. So I think here it is very simple. It is not very long like a CV where you have under biodata so many things. Here, I think it is very simple for you to master those ones. I think it would be okay. This is more orderly. I don't think you can be able to bring a year here. So I'm going to make my rule. Maybe some other person might disagree, but me, I will tell you that it is okay for you to follow this rule, that the first thing is the number of minute, followed by the number of the meeting, for example, 4th meeting or 5th, or month of that meeting, and then stroke the year. That would be very orderly. However, maybe the only thing you'd want to ask, maybe in case you are including the abbreviation, are we together? I would encourage that still put the abbreviation towards the last, just the way it is. There is no problem. I don't think that is a very long thing you can forget. You've crammed in Ngoni migration and now you're failing to capture 3 things. I would think that is something you can capture. Dion? Dion? Gloria and Leila.
So do we count, do we number that minute 1, minute 2?
But that's what I've just said. No, numbering from where? But you're already numbering it when you say minute 1. Let me show you. Let me display this example. Maybe that's a good one. It would answer so many questions. Let me display this example, but I'm going to share it with you as well. I just wanted you to have it. Let me display it real quick. This one. So this is a sample of those minutes. Someone can give any question. Imagine you are the secretary of drama club in your school. The club members presented a play that was fascinating, that the head teacher promised to take you out to present this play, write minutes of a meeting to prepare for this event. So we said the title is here. And if you look at this title, it captures the things we want. Nyachibali High School Drama Club, that is the group holding the meeting. Monday, 12th, that is the day and the date. And the year it was held is there. At 5, this is the time. In the school main hall, that is the place, the physical place the meeting is taking place. So this is how you capture those members. You number the members. Don't write very many. You can just write about 10 or so. And then after that, you capture members absent with apology. You see there are only 2. Then the one without apology, you can just put 1. in attendance, sometimes these are not there. The ones in attendance, they are there sometimes, other times they are not there. Don't force them to be there. And don't also make them disappear if they are there. So do as the question instructs. Then you write your agenda. You can number the members. Here you number them, the items in the agenda, 1, 2, 3. So the subtitles, I'm very interested in the subtitles. You can simply underline them to make them more clear. You capture them in such a way. Chairperson, blah, blah. I mean, then agenda, opening prayer. After that, then this is how you capture the minutes. So it is minute 1 of the 4th meeting. This one was held in 2013. So that's a very simple thing you can capture. Then minute 2 of the same number of minutes, rather meeting number. It is still the 4th meeting. Chairperson's communication. You can see how we capture them in paragraphs, indented paragraphs, and you keep on like that. Make sure all of them, these are arranged in the same way they are in the agenda. Opening prayer, chairperson's word, chairperson's word. Previous minutes, previous minutes. Previous minutes of the previous meeting were read and a few corrections were made. That is if they were made. If these ones are perfect and members approved, you also acknowledge they were okay. I'm interested in the last bit. After capturing all that, any other business is there, then you find signing out. So you see this one, it is not signed because we have not yet held the next meeting. So however, for you in UNEB, you will forge those signatures there and then. However, I would expect that this is what it would look like when you're in the last part, when you're writing the last bit, secretary's signature, the date, the chairperson's signature, and the date. I hope that answers many questions. Yes, members, do we have questions after watching that video? Rather, after seeing that display? Chemtai, you still have a question? Okay. So I'm going to share the number here. I think most guys were asking. My WhatsApp number is this one, 215855. That's my WhatsApp number. William G, I will make sure that you're not doing. Don't start hunting down for people's. Let's avoid writing funny comments on our chat room. Dion? Okay. Yes. Paragraph. Do we do what? Paragraph. Right. You are not very clear.